Hello everyone, are you ready for another adventure? It's me, Woki, and I'm back with another Fake Grand Order video. And for today's video, I'm going to be finishing off what I said I was going to finish off in the last video, which is going to be talking about the other two banners that are going to be related to the 23 million downloads pickup summon. Very unlikely for anyone to summon on these banners. They are, for the most part, bait banners, and for most people, it's probably best for you to skip. But if you are brave enough, and you are sure enough, and you are dedicated enough to some of these characters to go summoning for them, then let's talk about them and see how they currently stack up, and how they probably currently stack up in JP. I actually don't know too much about the JP version, but I can at least speak to the current version. I try my best to do the keep up, but it's very hard to actually keep up if you're not actively playing it. But anyway, let's get into it. So the first banner that's going to be coming up, which is going to be on the 29th, aka at day roll from when this video releases, so it's likely already out if you came to this video slightly late. This banner is going to be here for the 29th until the 3rd of June, because we're really close by it. And this one is the one that features Summer Artoria Rider Altar and Mysterious Heroine XX, along with the CEs of Midsummer Moments, King Joker Jack, and Caldea Beach Volleyball. And the other banner that is also going to feature, I may as well just talk about it now, which is going to release tomorrow, is the one that features the original Summer Saber Archer, her son Mordred Rider, which is the summer version of Mordred, and the CEs Knights of the Manors, Meat Wars, Shaved Ice, the Void Dust flavor. None of the CEs pop out to me as anything too special, but if you like the man art, this is your chance to get those man arts. Similar to the units, all the units are limited to mostly summer-related banners, and very rarely, if they are related to an event, they'll find a way to sneak in a summer unit, but for the most part, all of them are limited and all of them are very hard to get. And the same is true for the craft essences, but at least the craft essences try and return when the units come back. The nice thing is that if you summon a lot of summon banners, you already have a lot of these CEs. I have likely every single summer CE that was ever released. So, we'll start with the first unit. We'll go back to the banner that's coming up. So we'll start with Mysterious Heroine XX. Mysterious Heroine XX, she is a foreigner. She has 1 quick, 2 arts, 2 buster, 4 hits on quick, 3 hits on arts, 4 hits on buster, 4 hits on extra. Her active skills are Piloting EX, grants self-invincibility for 1 turn, increases own attack for 1 turn. It's 50% to attack on a cooldown of 5. Her second skill is the Detective Instincts E, gains crit stars, reduces own critical star absorption for 1 turn. 20 crit stars, and the absorption is minus 100% on a cooldown of 4. Her third skill is Justice from the End of the World A. Ignore invincibility for 1 turn, charges own NP gauge, increases own damage against threat to humanity enemies for 1 turn, 30% to NP and 50% to threat to humanity damage, and on a cooldown of 5. Her passive skills are Existence outside of the domain D, Cosmo Reactor B, Independent Action A, Writing A, and her third skill is, funny enough, not anti-saber, it's anti-moon cancer attack damage aptitude. And her null phantasm is the Ether Space Yet Lawful Sapphire Galaxy IDEST Cosmos, which it's already been strengthened, so we're not going to be looking at the older version of it. It's a rank EX anti-unit arts noble phantasm that hits 4 times. It deals damage to a single enemy, deals 200% extra damage to Saber class servants and enemies. The damage is 1,200 at MP level 1, and if you get her all the way to MP level 5, it's 1,800, and then the increased own attack, which activates first, is 20% at charge level 1, and if you get her all the way to the final charge level, it is 60%, and that is Mysterious Heroine XX. So how is she? As far as a unit goes, she's still pretty solid. For a unit that has never gotten any of her first skills upgraded, it's a fine set of skills for a 4-star. Obviously, there's nothing too amazing. Like, 50% attack is really nice, but having it tied to your invincibility at least means that you will, in theory, either waste the attack or the invincibility, but that's always choice, which is nice to have in a unit sometimes. Not every unit should just always come with easy choices and stuff like that. There should be some thought to it. Similar to this in the second skill, 20 crit stars for a skill that has instinct in the name is pretty good, along with reducing all critical star absorption is interesting. It's interesting for sure. And then third skill, funny enough, this doesn't apply at all if you're the last unit, so all it does is nothing. But if you're not on that, You will occasionally run into the issue of the other support units potentially taking your stars, but if you're generating enough crit stars, maybe it doesn't matter. And the third skill is a nice little ignore invincibility, a nice little MP charge, and doing bonus damage to threat to humanity can also come in handy in some very, very niche scenarios in which a threat to humanity dude shows up at all. So combine the threat to humanity stuff and the bonus damage against Saber class servants. If she ever runs into one of the two of them, she ends up doing a lot of damage to them. And for that reason alone, she can kind of come in clutch as an anti-Saber unit, similar to the other Mysterious Heroine XSs. So I think she's still pretty solid. She could probably use a little bit of bust here and there, but it's nothing too dire. It's not like Okita from the last video where it's like you have to really work for it. I think this one just ends up being there's a time and a place for them, and when you find that time and a place, you gladly use them. Plus, every single one of these Ascension stages is awesome. I love Mysterious Heroine XX. This first stage, cool. The second stage, also pretty cool. Third stage, full bikini, also good. This is like one of the coolest. I cannot stress enough. I love Mysterious Heroine X. She's maybe one of my... When I started playing FGO and I learned of them, I said, I need to get this unit as soon as I can. I was only ever able to get Mysterious Heroine X on the JP version of the game, went back when I played it. And on the NA version, I always failed, so I was so happy when she got a 4-star version, and I've had this one, and I use her on and off throughout the years, always super satisfied to bust her out whenever there's a Saber to be taken down. But there you go, that's Mysterious Heroine XX. Best of luck. I'm almost positive there are people who would summon exclusively for her. It's crazy that they made her a 4-star, because if she was a 5-star, people would be in constant rotation going for her, I feel. Speaking of someone that people would always be in constant rotation going for, it is Summer Saber Alter. She is, specifically because of who she is, because again, I guess all the Sabers have huge fan bases for them. Similar to the reason I've seen that a lot of people went for Summer Ruler, which is the same reason I went for it. But either way, let's move on. Rider. Her class is Rider. Her name is Artoria Alter, and now I'll seriously get back into the video. She has 3 quicks, 3 arts, 2 buster. No? What was that? I was looking at the hits. My bad. She has 2 quicks, 2 arts, 1 buster, 3 hits on quick, 3 hits on arts, 2 hits on buster, 5 hits on extra. Her first skill is the Summer Sweeper A, increases own attack for 3 turns, and it increases party's quick performance for 3 turns. This has a cooldown of 6, the attack up is 30%, and the quick party performance is 20%. Her second skill, which is what it is after the strengthening, which has all been released, is Coaching A+. I'm pretty positive it has. Let me double check here. Yes, a long time ago. I should know, I have this unit. But anyway, Coaching A+, reduces one ally's skill cooldown by 1, increases their critical star generation rate for 3 turns, deals 1000 damage without killing to them, demerit, 500% chance to grant them the build upper delayed buff for 1 turn, build upper increases their max HP for 5 turns after 1 turn, star rate is 50%, the max HP is 3000, and the cooldown is 6. Her third skill is Reloaded C, increases own quick performance for 1 attack for 3 turns. 30% on a cooldown of 3. But I will read that again. Increases the quick performance for 1 attack, 3 turns. Passive skills are Magic Resistance B, Writing B, Independent Action EX. Her third skill is an anti-saber attack damage aptitude, because trust no one, not even yourself. And her noble phantasm is a Sekase Morgan, the sword of tenacious burning victory. It rank A, anti-army. It hits 6 times. It's quick. It deals damage to a single enemy. It charges your MP gauge by 10%. At MP level 1, the damage is 1,200. If you get her all the way to MP level 5, it's 2,000. And then reduces their critical attack chance for 3 turns. 30% at charge level 1, and if you get her all the way to the final charge level, it is 70%. And that is our girl here, Summer Alter Rider. So, like I said in the, as you could tell a little bit beforehand, I had this unit. I got her specifically because I thought that she was really cool, and this is maybe one of the worst aging units that they have ever released. This is... I don't know what they were doing with her design, to be honest. The Reloading C kind of feels a little bit like... Ishtar's in that it's a delayed, it's a 3-turn skill cooldown where in theory you can keep getting 50% attack every turn, but they changed it out for the ability of it being delayed for a turn, for it being available now. But it's only 30% and it's again for a single attack. They said, no, you will get 30% quick up for 1 turn, for 1 attack. That is insanity to me that this skill has never been buffed in any capacity. Why? I mean, they might be afraid to just because the cooldown is 3, so they're like, if we make this too good, and this combined with her second skill, which has always had the ability to reduce anyone's cooldown by 1, maybe they'll enter a scenario where she'll be too good. And her first skill being a support is actually very nice. This is actually kind of nice for sure if you're looking for a more support focused unit. But anyway, it ends up being that you have a unit specifically because she doesn't have any like bonus attack things against the enemy. She ends up being very hard to deal a lot of damage in the experience that I've had with her. Because she has no way of NP charging herself, she can kind of run into issues of not being able to get your full charge up anymore. She needs buffs. She needs a lot of buffs. The one thing I'll say that's probably good is that in the future, when you're doing the Grand class thing and you have to use only riders, having a rider that can support the team, and she does support the team because she has the ability to produce a 1 ally skill cooldown, and she has the ability to give them some attack and quick performance, that can come in pretty clutch. But again, that's a niche scenario for something that has not entered the game yet, and it's only theory crafting by me right now. So take a lot of that with a grain of salt, because who even knows what that rider fight will end up looking like when the time comes. So yeah, I wish that she got a buff of some kind, because she is a very cool unit. The one thing that is nice about coaching A+, by the way, is that she's one of the few units that has the ability to reduce 1 ally skill cooldown by 1, which means she can actually be used in... She's not the best at it, but she can help Arc get the final skill cooldown. Unfortunately, they took that niceness away from her when they added this append skill, which basically lets you do what this does, so... yeah, very unfortunate. I wish they got a buff of some kind, but I think in their minds, I think they're probably a little bit afraid and they don't know how to buff it without making her accidentally broken. Because if they made this like a 50% attack quick for 1 turn, and then it has a skill cooldown of 3, combine that with her second skill and this other one, you'd be able to constantly have it up. But we've seen units that have constant 50%. I don't know. They need to do something. If you have a better idea, let me know. I really don't know what they can do other than maybe make her more support focused if that's what they want to go on. But I really do feel this third skill probably has to change at some time. If anything, even remove that 1 attack part. Because again, she is a really cool unit. Similar to the other Saber, I like all the summer outfits that she has for this one. Maid, regular, cool coat, and then her Noble Phantasm is like shooting from a motorcycle. It's really cool. So maybe the buff part for me is me going, come on now, you cannot let a cool unit like this kind of just not do anything. It's very sad. Now let's move on to the next unit. Oh boy. So next is Mordred Rider. Mordred Rider is a limited 4-star summer unit. They have 2 quicks, 2 arts, 1 buster, 3 hits on quick, 2 hits on arts, 1 hit on buster, 4 hits on extra. Their first skill is the Cerulean Ride A, increases on arts performance for 3 turns, 30% to arts on a cooldown of 5. Second skill is Rodeo Flip A+, grants self-evasion for 1 turn, increases zone critical star generation rate for 1 turn, and the star rate is 50% on a cooldown of 7. The third skill is the Perpetual Summer B, grants self-gut stats for 1 time 3 turns, revives with 1000 HP, charges on MP gauge on a 30% MP gauger on a cooldown of 7. Their passive skills are Magic Resistance B and Surfing A, which is an increase to arc performance by 5% and an increase to critical star generation rate for 5%. And the Noble Phantasm is the Perduin Tube Riding, the Kingly Mood of Raining in Surging Waves, rank A, anti-wave arts Noble Phantasm that hits 5 times. It deals damage to all enemies. At MP level 1, it's 450% damage. At MP level 5, it's 750%. And then their overcharge effect is a chance to reduce their MP gauge by 1. it's 50% at level 1, and if you get it all the way to the final charge level, it's 90%, and that is Mordred Rider. This is very easy, because Mordred Rider has not changed since she released from the game. She is the same unit that she has been since they've released, which is that if you want a unit who is really good at looping, that's Mordred Rider. Mordred Rider was able to loop before Castoria. They were looping in the olden days. I remember being able to loop before having a 50% art supporter. That's always what they've been good at. The problem is that's not good enough anymore. And if you're just looking for a unit that can just do that, and you can get their Noble Phantasm levels a little bit higher to make up for the not crazy amount of damage, then that will probably be pretty good. But the main culprit here is actually, believe it or not, another Rider, which is easy to get in the fact that they're free to play, but it does take a very long time to get to them. It's Habatrot, who is a free to play Rider, who you will get after beating Lost Belt 6, and then it gets added to the friend points, and then you can just get them to MP level 5. And unfortunately, it means is that kind of makes them the default best writer for art stuff, so it kind of hurts a little bit for Mordred, who is like, their main thing is like, yo, I can really loop like you've never seen. And Habatrot has a skill that goes, that's great. I'm just gonna give myself about like 80% starting Noble Phantasm. What's next for you? It's like, well, I have guts for one time over 3 turns and a 30% MP charger. What the fuck then? So yeah, it ends up being, it's just the case. This is another use case for, I wish they would kind of buff them. If only because I guess they would buff them to just make them that much better of a looper, but it would be nice to have a little bit more utility to them. But if all you care about is specifically getting them to loop, that's what they do. And they do it very effectively. And they've been doing it effectively since release. For years now. Going on to 10 years of the JP version of the game pretty soon. And then finally, we'll go on to the other summer unit. And the last for today's video. That's right, Summer Saber Archer, as I affectionately call her. I do not call her by Squirtoria. That's such a funny nickname. I assume that's the reason why. Anyway, she is a Saber. She has 2 quicks, 2 arts, 1 buster, 4 hits on quick, 3 hits on arts, 3 hits on a buster on a 5-hit extra. Their active skill is not in the game yet, so we'll take a look at it, but it's coming literally this anniversary. Summer Splash A+, just to be sure on that one. Yep, on the 8th anniversary, so she'll be coming up pretty soon here. Summer Splash EX, which I'll look at the A+ version actually. Increases own arts performance for 3 turns, increases own party's defense, increases party's defense for 3 turns, 30% to arts, 20% to defense on a cooldown of 6, and when we get that buff pretty soon, the thing that changes is that now they get a charging to own MP gauge and ignore evasion for 3 turns, which is very nice. Second skill is Protection of the Beach House EX, recovers own HP. Demerit is reduce your own MP gauge by 10%, and that is with a heal of 5,000 on a cooldown of 4. Third skill is Beach Flower B, increases party's attack for 3 turns, and then increases critical star generation rate of male allies for 3 turns. Jump scare for this percentage, 18% to attack and 38% to male star rate. How can you tell that this is an early FGO unit? Weird numbers. Cooldown of 5. They were really just trying anything back in the day. Magic Resistance A, Independent Action A, and Territory Creation A are her passive skills, and the third append skill is an anti-rider attack damage aptitude. I can literally say this for any Saber, but trust no one, not even yourself in this case. Her Noble Phantasm is the Excalibur Vivian! That's how she says it when she launches her Noble Phantasm. The Sword of Sunlight, the Glitter Victory, rank A anti-unit, hits 10 times, deals damage to 1 enemy, 70% chance to reduce her MP gauge by 1. At MP level 1, it's 900% damage, and if you get her all the way to MP level 5, like I have, it's 1,500, and then the overcharge effect is charging on MP gauge. At level 1, it's 20%, and if you get her all the way to the final charge level, it's 40%, and that is Summer Saber Archer. How is she? I think she's still really good. As far as a single target archer goes, I think there are a lot more options in general for archers nowadays, but this is like old reliable for me, and it's not just because she's NP level 5. The story around that is that I was trying to get NP 5 on Summer Marie because mine was NP 4, and then I ended up getting like 3 copies of Summer Artoria instead, and I never was able to get my last copy of Summer Marie. I still have Summer Marie at NP level 4. Still sad that I was never able to finish her off, but it is what it is. But she is really good. She is very good at being able to constantly get back her Noble Phantasm, just because of the pure level of generation rate she's doing. She hits 10 times, so if she hits them and they end up dying, all that bonus comes back to her, and especially with double Castoria. She was already good at this before Castoria, but with Castoria, I've never failed to get all 3 turns her NP back every single time. So I just have like 4 straight turns of shooting off that NP, and sometimes it can go even further if I get lucky with card placement and I get back the arts cards by the end of it. So she is really good, and also if she's the last unit standing, she can really hold the fort. It is nice to have her just have a little bit extra of Noble Phantasm, so that when you use this, you can use some of your excess to pay for the 10%, because it is annoying if you only have it at MP level 1. But thankfully, this first skill is coming in to make that a little bit better, because you'll be able to get an MP charger if you, for whatever reason, are not able to complete the task at hand. So yeah, it ends up being very nice. I think the one thing that kind of holds her back from like reaching a lot of upper echelons is that she's just old. Like at a certain point, I've made multiple videos talking about this unit and about how much I like her and how good she is, and she's always been at the very base level a unit that I've been happy to use and go with it and be like, okay, no, this is a strong unit, I'm very happy. But they have never updated her second skill or her third skill, and they just keep releasing good units. At some point, the sword has to fall, and you have to be just kind of like happy with being, no, still good, but you know, there's big scarier dudes out there. It's kind of like, what's the best way of putting it? It's kind of like when a new deck enters Yu-Gi-Oh! And then the old decks kind of have to be understood of like, no, you're kind of like off meta now. Like Sky Striker, even though I think actually most recently in the OCG Sky Striker may have been coming back a little bit. But Sky Striker, maybe Thunder Dragons is a better way of doing it. Okay, if you were playing pure Thunder Dragons, back in the day, Thunder Dragons was a top meta defining deck and was insanely good. But as time has gone on, and design spaces made it so that so many Yu-Gi-Oh cards are just super crazy busted nuts, Thunder Dragons, even though they still have an extremely strong extra deck monster, which kind of stops the enemy team from being able to look through their deck and stuff like that, the thing that is an issue is that those other decks are just so insanely powerful that some can play through that and others can figure out a ways to get rid of your stuff. So it ends up being, it takes Thunder Dragons going from being one of the best at all times to now being a deck that you kind of go like, you know what, I can still kind of hang, but for the most part, the power level of insanity that's gone on, they don't compare on that level. Still pretty good though. And maybe they're just one good support card away from being back in the meta. Kind of like Vanquish Soul, which, to be fair, was never in the meta, but then they got a card that basically said, now you're in the meta. No, I feel like I've talked more about Yu-Gi-Oh! Than I've talked about cards. Point is, she's also got a very good summer outfit. She's a very cute unit, and I can understand wanting the Summer King for yourself. So, go for it, is what I have to say. So those are the units on here. I wish you the best of luck if you end up summoning for it. It's, again, not the best time to be doing it because we're really close to anniversary, but if you're brave enough, foolish enough, and have ambitions enough to go summoning at the time that it is the worst, I only wish the best for you. Go with God, and may you have the luck that you deserve. I will see you guys in the next video, which is likely going to be another FGO video because it's close to the end of the month, so it's time to look at what's coming up next. But anyway, that's the end, everyone. Thank you very much. If you made it all the way to the end, remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. I forgot to bring that up. Till next time, goodbye. Peace.